Imagine the scent of rosemary and caramelized onions wafting through a cozy ranch house in Fresno, California, where the summer heat still lingers in the air even as evening falls. That's where I, Sarah Reynolds, found myself that night, 38 years old and knee-deep in the remnants of a life I'd poured into others. The table was set with care, linen napkins folded just so. Candles flickering softly against the walls I'd repainted last spring in a shade called morning mist to brighten the place up. It was my parents' 40th wedding anniversary, and I'd spent the better part of a week turning their modest home into something out of a Hallmark card. String lights twinkled overhead, casting golden halos on the faces of aunts, uncles, and cousins who'd gathered to celebrate. But beneath it all, a quiet tension simmered, the kind that builds like storm clouds on the horizon. I was once the proud owner of Brew Haven, a specialty coffee shop in Oakland that had been featured in Bay Area magazine as the go-to spot for artisanal roasts and community vibes. We'd hosted poetry nights, local artist showcases, even a small book club that drew in regulars from all walks. My partner, Alex, and I had built it from scratch, grinding beans at dawn and closing up under the stars. But 4 years ago, that world shattered with a single phone call. Now, here I was, back in my old bedroom upstairs, surrounded by faded high school yearbooks and the faint must of forgotten dreams, serving up a feast I'd prepared with hands that once crafted lattes for Silicon Valley execs. "Mom, the roast is perfect," I called out, plating slices of beef tenderloin as she fussed over the salad. Her arthritis had worsened, making even simple tasks a chore, but she still managed that sharp tone when things weren't just right. "Sarah, don't let it dry out. Hurry up." Dad hobbled in from the living room, his cane tapping against the linoleum, the aftermath of his heart attack 3 years back still evident in his labored steps. I pulled out his chair, but he brushed me off. "I'm fine, kiddo. Sit down yourself." My younger brother, Jake, breezed in late, his tech startup hoodie rumpled from a day of coding marathons. "Sorry, folks, big pitch ran over." Mom beamed at him like he'd invented the internet. Our entrepreneur, always climbing. The relatives filled the room with chatter, Aunt Carol whispering about my situation, cousins probing when I'd get back out there, Uncle Tom cracking jokes about me being the house elf. I moved like a shadow, refilling glasses, clearing plates, the invisible glue holding the evening together. They laughed over old stories, planned trips to Lake Tahoe, toasted Jake's latest funding round. "Remember when Sarah's coffee shop catered that tech conference?" Aunt Carol said, her voice laced with pity. "Whatever happened to that place?" I started to explain, the hospital bills after Dad's attack, Mom's frantic calls about the foreclosure notice, how I'd sold everything to pull them from the brink. But Dad cut in. That was just a hobby. Sarah's taking time to regroup." He squeezed my arm like I was some lost soul, not the one who'd wired $165,000 to save their roof. As the night deepened, the toasts began. Uncle Tom rambled about enduring love. Jake spoke eloquently of perseverance and family bonds, his eyes skimming past me. Then Mom stood, glass raised high, Dad nodding beside her. "We've weathered storms, illness, hard times, and now we want our golden years free. Free from worry," Dad echoed. "Free from chains." Mom's gaze locked on mine. "Free from the weight that's held us back." The word weight sliced through the air, sharp as a knife. Whispers rippled, maybe from Aunt Carol. Jake stared at his fork, but I felt the room shrink to just their faces. That accusation echoing, "Wait." After the nights I'd juggled Dad's meds, learned to balance their checkbook when dementia fogged Mom's mind, sold my shop, my condo in Oakland, my future to be called Wait? I rose slowly, chair scraping like thunder in the hush. Picking up my untouched glass, I met their eyes with a smile that felt like cracking ice. "To freedom," I whispered. Then I set it down and walked out. Voices erupted behind me, Mom calling, Jake muttering about drama, relatives buzzing. But I didn't pause. Not in the kitchen piled with dishes I'd planned to wash at dawn. Not past the stack of paid bills in the den. Not even in my room, where I grabbed a duffel and the essentials. I'd given them my all. Now I'd give them what they craved: absence. The redwood in off Interstate 5 hummed with the drone of semis in the night, its vacancy sign blinking like a weary eye. $50 cash got me a room that reeked of stale smoke and cheap pine cleaner. I sank onto the bed, the springs groaning in protest, and let the clarity wash over me. Not rage. Not yet. But a cold reckoning. My phone lit up, 18 missed calls, texts piling like accusations. I powered it down and stared at the peeling wallpaper. Memories flooding back to that fateful call 3 years ago. It was 3:12 a.m. Rain pounding my Oakland window. "Sarah, please. Dad's in the ER. Heart attack. The insurance, it's lapsed. They're talking collections already." Mom's voice. Broken. Desperate. I'd been prepping for a big investor meeting. Beans roasting in the background. But I grabbed my keys. "I'm coming." The drive blurred into chaos. Dad pale in the ICU. Tubes snaking everywhere. Mom clutching denial letters. Past due notices. A mortgage 3 payments behind. They'd refinanced twice. Cards maxed on essentials. How bad? I'd asked. $75,000 just for the house. Bills. More. I called Alex from the hospital lot at sunrise. "I have to sell out," he argued. But I insisted. 2 weeks later, $165,000 hit their account, my share undervalued in the rush. I cleared the mortgage, set up payments for the cardiac rehab, covered utilities while Dad recovered. Temporary, I told myself. Just till they stabilize. The motel's AC rattled to life, yanking me back. I pulled out a notebook and started listing, not venting, but accounting. Mortgage rescue, $75,000. Taxes backlogged, $10,500. Medical copays, $32,000. Home fixes roof leak. AC unit, $7,200. Mom's hidden card debt, $12,000. Monthly outflows, groceries. Power. Jake's loans for a startup, $2,200 x 36 months equals $79,200. Total, $215,900. That ignored my lost wages. The life uprooted. The caregiver hours unpaid. My phone, briefly on. Got a text to Jake, auto pays from my account. Handle it now. Off again. Laughter bubbled up. Bitter and freeing. They wanted no wait? They'd feel the void soon. For the first time. The bed felt like a throne, not a cage. Evidence cluttered the motel table like scattered puzzle pieces, receipts I'd hoarded. A testament to my erasure. PG&E, $160 monthly. Auto paid. Water, $85. Insurance, $1,800 yearly. Cable for Dad's sports, $130. Then Mom's statements, hidden in her drawer like guilty secrets. Bloomingdale's. Whole Foods splurges. $12,000 cleared. Interest mounting till I intervened. Just treats after the scare, she'd said. I'd become their phantom financier. Bleeding savings while munching ramen. Darning jeans. They never questioned the magic, assumed Social Security stretched like elastic. Groceries, $180 weekly. Organic for Mom's health. Meds, $280 post-insurance. Repairs, foundation crack from last quake. $4,500. Sarah's between gigs, they'd tell folks. Figuring her path. As if I'd lost myself in the fog. Not sacrificed to clear theirs. Jake knew scraps. He'd borrowed $5,000 for his app prototype. Repaid in excuses. Last birthday. He gifted a motivational mug, dream big. Inscription, time to launch. Sis. Love ya. I'd smiled. Then covered his rent shortfall that month. The narrative calcified, poor Sarah. Flopped in the city. Crashing home for pity. Grateful for scraps while I funded the feast. I snapped photos of each slip. A digital vault not for lawsuits, I'd given willingly, but to affirm I wasn't mad. Wasn't invisible. The cruelty? No thanks ever. Bills vanished like mist, fridge filled by elves. Aunt Carol at Thanksgiving, lucky you. No rent. Parents saints. I'd nodded. Then paid their heating bill from the guest bath. Saints. Indeed. Packing the box. Relief bloomed, not vengeance. But release. Tomorrow. Autopays would bounce. Red notices arrive. They'd learn the weight I'd borne. But tonight. In this dingy room. I settled my debt to myself. Lena's door swung open at 1 a.m. No judgment in her eyes. 25 years of friendship earned that refuge without questions. Her Sacramento loft smelled of jasmine and self-reliance. Claimed post her messy split. Tea or tequila? Tequila. Straight. She poured while I melted into her couch. The one where we'd brainstormed Brewhaven over endless espressos. Lena had seeded my startup. Shared my highs. Held me through the sale. So, they finally cracked the facade. Called me wait at dinner. Toasted freedom from it. Lena didn't sugarcoat. About time you saw. Remember my cousin Vic? Tech whiz. Cashed out early. Mom got cancer, he moved in. Funded trials. Hospice, $400K down. At the end. Family blamed him for stressing her. Cut him from inheritance. That's brutal. Family scapegoat helpers to dodge guilt. You were their easy mark. I just craved appreciation. Lena softened. Sacrifice buys resentment. Not love. Silence wrapped us as city lights pulsed outside. People chasing dreams unburdened. What did Vic do? Ghosted. Relocated to Portland. Last I heard. Family scraping by. Fighting over basics. Not revenge for me. Consequences. Sarah. Big difference. She was spot on, not sabotage. Just withdrawing the scaffold. Crash here till you land feet first. Tomorrow. We hunt apartments. Saw a spot by the river cozy. Near that barista academy. Can't afford without their drain? You can rule the world. For years. Afford meant their needs first, skip my dentist for dad's pills? Now. It shifted. We canceled autopays one by one, utilities. Insurance. Cards. Mortgage. Each click severed a tether. Won't they notice? Utilities lag 30 days, cards bite now. Finger over the mortgage. They could lose it. The home you saved? Let Jake step up, he's the hotshot. Phone buzzed, Jake. Ignored. Tonight. You're just Sarah. We toasted, to fallout and flight. The burn tasted like rebirth. Text started at dawn. Power flickered, bill issue? Mom. By 9 a.m., Sarah. Power's out. Dad's oxygen machine needs juice. Come fix this. Wi-Fi down, how am I supposed to code? Jake. I watched from Lena's table. Sipping coffee. As their world unraveled. 10:15. Bank called, mortgage autopay canceled. Mistake? Dad. 11:30. Card declined at Target, mortifying. Mom. Noon. Patient charts inaccessible without net. Lives online. Selfish much? Jake. Lives? When Dad coded. Jake was swamped with pitches. Visiting sporadically. Now. His streaming halts. And it's apocalypse. Lena smirked over eggs. Patient charts? He's probably binge-watching. Mom called, I answered. What have you done? Chaos. Nothing, that's it. You've been paying. Everything. Yes. Now you will. Venom seeped. Petty revenge over words? Words? You toasted my erasure. Wine talking. Sensitive girl. Gaslight flickered. But I held. PG&E wants $160. Water $85. Jake's salary covers. He's got debts. His debts, I paid $300 monthly for 2 years. Stunned quiet. Didn't know. Chose not. I ended it. Calls flooded. Family recruits guilting. Blocked. Jake texted. Mom's wrecked. Dad's BP spiking. Happy? You got freedom from weight. Enjoy. This is blackmail. Blackmail's demanding my $215,000 back. This is stopping. Where are you? We need passwords. Schedules. Filing cabinet. Adult up. I have a startup. I had a life. Managed yours anyway. Tech was can bill pay. Tone shifted by afternoon. Sorry. Overreacted. Come talk. We are adults handle bills. Can't afford budget. Work. Like normals. But we're family. Family toasts burdens? I powered off. Sacramento bustled outside. Markets. Joggers. Lives untangled. Guilt? Lena asked. Nah, awake. Day 1. But not my mess. For months on. Sketching latte art in my Riverside studio. Lena sent the notice. Foreclosure. 312 Oak Lane. Fresno. Default. $15,000. Auction soon. $15,000, mere months' worth of what I'd funneled. Jake rang once to vent about moving them. Once for holiday cash. Ignored both. Grapevine buzzed. Dad stocking shelves part-time. Mom cashiering at Walmart. Jake doubling hours, but balking at home help. They downsized to a noisy duplex by the tracks, worlds from suburbia. No glee hit, just emptiness where fury was. My studio? Cramped. Leaky faucet. But mine walls sage green. Herbs thriving. Gig at a local roastery, mornings blending. Afternoons free for classes. Free to dream. Unyoked. You're radiant, Vic said over cortados, Lena's intro. Fellow family refugee. Sleeping sound. Number 3M. Panics. He got it. His clan imploded post-cutoff. Regrets? That it had to happen. Not the happening. My new Insta. Rise roast, hit 5K followers, barista tutorials. Custom blends. Cafes inquired for collabs. Freedom wasn't flash, buying jeans without math. Dinners sans schedules. Existing sans sacrifice ledger. Heard Jake's funded good. From afar. Behind my walls. Nights. I'd recall Mom's toast. The casual gut punch. Then pivot to my roastery pitch, modest. Mine. Auction passed unseen, not my spectacle. Their fall wasn't triumph, just physics sans my brace. Regrets? Vic echoed. None. I carried, now I soar. We toasted tired spines. Fresh dawns. Across town. They balanced alone. Here. In my haven of coffee steam. I flew untethered. She cornered me at the old Sacramento market. Amid fresh brews and artisan stalls. 5 months free-honed my senses, I felt her before seeing. Mom looked frayed. Slimmer. Her once-polished blouse wrinkled. Makeup masked weariness pearly. Sarah. I held ground. Clutching a bag of Ethiopian beans. You look. Settled. I am. Vendor eyed us warily. Can we chat? Briefly? I nodded. Bench by the river. Away from bustle. The duplex is okay, compact. But Jake helped unpack. What do you need? Flinch. Old Sarah would have eased in. No more. Managing. Dad's at Lowe's part-time. I'm at Kohl's. Fitting rooms. Pause. Couponing now. You paid it all. 3 years. 8 months. Didn't see. Didn't look. Hands twisted. Hate us. Hates effort I won't waste. You're neutral. Gasp sob. I'm your mom. Were, till you called for help. I gave all. Till wait toast. Sorry. Sorry when lights dimmed. Transactional. Hand reached, I recoiled. Here for cash? Cosign. To see my girl. Your girl dissolved her shop for you. Lived as failure per your tale. Died at that table. Just Sarah now. Family. Doesn't erase givers. Tears flowed, once my undoing. Done then? Holidays? When we're frail. When I needed thanks. You chose. I stood. Your health. Jake's grind, not mine. Me? Voice broke. You got your wish, know me. Walked into sun. Her calls fading. No chase, maybe dawn broke. My beans would flavor tomorrow. Afternoon open. Mine alone. Behind. She learned freedom's cost. To me, priceless. Paid in full. The envelope slid under my door Wednesday. Jake's scrawl. Sarah. Likely trash this. But trying. Mom mentioned market, devastated. Pulled records, you nailed it all. Sorry late. Insufficient. But I see our theft. Therapy calls you family anchor, we shattered while you held. Dad's steadier with routine. Mom adapts. We're evolving. Hope you're thriving. Not begging absolution. Paid back loans to your old ACCT start. Not fix. Jake. Read. Filed in binder by Roast Notes and Loan App. Not buried. Not sacred. Studio evolved, grinder shining. Certs framed. Insta at 7K, for spot stock my blends. Bank pinged, $35,000 from Jake, drop in my ocean. But closure spark. Sun dappled counters, orders piled, event brews. Workshop preps. No wrath left, just boundaries firm. Thought reply, thanks. Well wishes. Distance. But silence spoke louder. Hands ground beans. Mind clear. Old Sarah would have bridged. Frosted wounds. New me new love versus. Ledger. Life wasn't payback, pure. Self-sustained. Doorbell. Vic with Ethiopian. Lena with laughs. Chosen kin. Reciprocal. Wiped hands on my master roaster, apron, self-gifted, and embraced tomorrow. Past regrets? Theirs. I had brews to craft. Horizons to chase. The wait? Never mine.